Hello everyone, in this video I'd like to demonstrate the operation of the motor starter in the lab room, right? So this is the picture from the teacher's station, a little bit different from the station you work on, all right? So first, as you can see, it's the same on this station, also has the same type of motor starter as on the student's station. All right. So first one, you can see on the left hand side, you have one unit. This is the one, the FVR, full voltage reversing. You will see the name in the following slide. All right. As you can see on the right hand side, there's a separate unit on here. This is the second type of the starter. Is the full voltage non-reversing. So we will learn this FVNR first, then we will look at the demonstration with the full voltage and reversing. All right. So also a little bit different from student station. This unit has a motor, three-phase motor on here installed, right? So it's connected to the trainer. The other difference from your station is that we have a VFD, variable frequency driver, installed in this demonstration unit. Right? So you don't have that on the student station. The reason we have the VFD on here is that a few reasons. Right? First one, as you can see here, VFD allow us to start the motor in a very gentle way, so we can soft start and quick stop. So if we don't have VFD, we only use either one type, any type of the motor starter. So that'll be full voltage. That's why we have the FV. So that will apply the full voltage onto the motor. So there's no any controls on the start and the stop. Right, so when motor start, it's going to run very quickly and very sudden start. And also, when the motor stop, they won't quick get to the stop state. It will run for a while, like we call coasting. Right, so that motor will take a long time to fully stop. So this is one reason we install on there. And also with the VFD, we can precisely control the speed of the rotation of the motor in order for us to look at the rotation directions. So in the demo you will see that obviously we in addition to turn on and turn off the motor, we want in some situation to control the rotation direction, right? If for example you're controlling a lifter, you want it going up and also go down, right? So in that sort of the application, right? So the other reason that's more important on here is that this, like I mentioned, this motor is three-phase. It require the ABC three-phase going to the terminal to turn on the motor. But on our trainer, we only have one phase as the power source. So the VFD can provide three-phase power supply with one single phase source. So that's another different topic. It's not part of this course. We don't have to talk about details. In this way, we have to use that because we only have a single phase, but we want to control three-phase motor, right? So that's the other reason. So you can see the last one demonstrate common modern advanced motor control technology, which will be discussed in other courses, right? Like I mentioned, it's not part of this Controls 1 course. So we just need to accept the VFD to know that its purpose for this demonstration, right? So the other thing is that I don't want to cause confusion in your knowledge with the motor starter and VFD. What we see in this setting is not very typical, right? The reason is that for very basic motor control, those two units, either one of them will be okay to directly control the motor, right? So in the actual application in the industry, if you have a VFD, normally you don't need those motor starter anymore. Right, so that may be a little bit that's the confusing part. Maybe I don't want you have that with this part of knowledge. So VFD has all the functions required with the motor starters. So that means once you have VFD, you can totally eliminate the motor starters. You don't need them anymore, right? But for our purpose, for the demonstration, like for all these reasons, we need them. In the moment you will see that. All right. So I just want you to be clear. Right. So whenever you have a VFD, you don't need to have the motor starter anymore, because the motor starter functions has been included into the VFD. On top of that, VFD can provide a lot of other functions. Right. So this is just something I want to be clear at the beginning. All right. So let's look at the next slide with the power connections. All right. So like I said, all right. So the motor is three-phase, right? So you can see here there's three power supply going to the motor, and the VFD, this one, supply the three-phase motor, a three-phase power supply. And then after that, you can see you already learned that, or you can also work in the lab. You understand this symbol represent the motor starter. Which in this case I just use the full voltage non-reversing, right? So this is the main contact M1. So it's three separate contacts, and whenever it's energized, you will see this part. That's part of the armature will be engaged, will be sucked in. You see that movement on here. So normally it's open, right? You can see that's a normally open contact symbol. And then after that, on the yellow block actually is this the overload. Regarding on this part, we have to talk about more on the lecture, right? So it's not part of this demo, all right? So I just need to know which part, what is what, all right? So then we can move on to the second part with the connection, all right? So with the second part, we have to understand how do we connect on the wire, because in the demo you will see I'm doing the wiring change. You need to know what I'm doing on there, right? So when I'm showing the video, I can also come back to talk about this. All right. So again, so this is, you can see here, this part is the VFD. All right. So on the side of VFD, we have different terminals. So this one, you can see if you follow here, those are the three-phase wire going to the motor. Right. We have a blue, we have black and red. Those are the T1, T2, T3 to the motor. And on the right hand side, this is 208 AC, so L1 to L3. So those are the power supply provided by the VFD three-phase. So that's, you can see here, those three wires actually come from the VFD on here. It didn't show on here. Actually, it's those two wires. That's only two of there. That's another one on here. So that's all the wires from here supplied by the VFD. Then, if you follow the connection on here, so we need to go into the main contacts of the motor starter, right? So then that's where we need to connect to the L1, L2, L3 of the motor starter, right? So this is, again, this is non-reversing. This is reversing, right? So right now I'm just talking about the non-reversing, right? So that means we can connect the wire from here and going to here. You can see here, of course, there are three of them, right? So in this way, we get the power supply from the VFD, go through this connection and going to here, go to this terminal, and this will be the L1, L2, L3 to the motor starter. Then after the motor starter overload will come out from here, which is on here. the T terminal. So we just need to connect this 3 connections into here, because at the bottom part, that's the connection terminal connect to the motor, right? So in this way, we make the full connection according to this, so we can control the motor, right? So like I said, I will come back to show you this, maybe this slide later on when I'm doing the wiring on the motor, if you want to know more, right? So let's look at the demo on here. The first one is over here, that's the name, right? So you can see the FVNR, full voltage, non-reversing. All right. So again, this is the coil, and this is the overload. That's the part from the motor starter. So we have stop button at PB3 and start button PB1, 3-wire control, right? So you can see here, that's the bypass or seal-in or latching, right, from the motor starter. So over here, we have another select switch. Selector switch is for the changing of the function of jogging, of running. So as you can see on here, if you flip the switch to the left-hand side, it's called jogging, because on the left-hand side position, the contact in the circuit is broken. You can see here it's broken, right? But if you flip the select switch to the right-hand side, you will go into the run. So that means this switch will move down, make a connection on here. So you have a full connection on here. So that's the typical 3-wire control. We can continue run the motor once you press the start button, right? We already learned that from the theory, right? And then over here, the purpose of this select switch is that if you flip to the left-hand side, it can provide with a function called jogging. Jogging, that means you don't need to use stop button to stop the motor anymore. You can just use one button to turn on and turn off. So imagine without this part, when you flip on the left-hand side, it's broken on here. So there's no seal-in on here. So when you press start, the motor is running. When you release the start button, motor stop. So this is what we call jogging, right? So you move the motor little by little. Some people call that inching, right? So when you get closer to where you want to move the motor to, and then you can just do it like little by little by only briefly pressing the start button, right? So that is what I need to know before we are doing the demo. All right, let me go back to here. Maybe I will use this slide later. So now we can look at the video. All right. So power on. I want you to look at, listen to the voice, right? So somebody sneeze. Yeah. Hey, I know there's another one coming up. All right, just give you a. All right. So what you see on here, PB1 is start button, right? When I press the button, you hear the hissing sound, the motor start. All right. So that's that motor. Yeah. So this is the VFD, the speed control. All right, so this is the then reversing. That's the part I talk about, right? So right now it's releasing, it's disconnected, and with that being sucked in, it's being energized. The contact will be closed, so motor is on. So right now you can see right now it's released. All right.
Jog again. Good.
All right. So
motor is ready.
Look at
So you can see motor. I can control the speed, right?
Okay,
slow down.
The jogging, I just mentioned that. So the switch, you can see here.
Yeah,
You switch it.
Good.
So you can see here, right? That's the start button become jogging button.
Look at here. That's blue, red, blue.
Blue, red, blue.
So I have to flip the switch, go back to continue run. So I can control the speed. Right now you can see it's
Very
Okay.
clean, very clean.
counterclockwise, right?
So swap these two.
Swap, and then Two
Yeah.
wire. Okay.
So I turn off the power because I need to change the wiring. Okay, so this is the part I need to bring back a little bit on here. So remember here, so we talk about this, right? So this is the part I just point to, blue, red, blue, right? So that's where we connect down there to the motor,
Yeah, same
right?
speed.
So if I go back here, you can see here those are the blue, red, blue, and then those are the three same wire up here, blue, red, blue. So from here, from the T1, T2, T3 going to the motor, you see those three wire going to the motor, right? So this is the current connection, right? So if I want to reverse the rotation for the motor, I need to physically change those three phase into different settings. So again, that's the part you will learn from different course. With T1, T2, T3 AC motor, you just need to swap any two of them. So for example, if you exchange T1 with T2, the direction of the motor will be changed. All right. So again, you can just accept it for now. We'll see the result. That's what I'm going to show you on here, right? So with those connections on here, maybe I should draw that, right? So we have the connections on here and on here and on here. That's the current connection. So then I will swap these two on here. So that will change the direction of the motor. Right. So let's look at the video again. You can see the actual change. So
Start again.
yeah, you see here those the three wire.
Motor is running clockwise.
So blue, red, right? So the red become T1, T1 become T2. I swap these two, right? So then
It's a reverse.
Okay, I can start again.
Yeah. See? Yeah, direction is reverse.
Okay, then wait.
before was the counterclock, right? Right now it's clockwise,
See the two.
right? They change direction, right?
Let's do that one.
All right. So this is what I can demonstrate. Oh, I think there are more, right? So, yeah, jogging. Yeah. So in the opposite direction, I can also jogging. I can also jog the motor, and then speed control, right? Speed up and speed. All right. So this is the next part of the demo. All right. So far, as you can see, with the this type of non-reversing, this is why the name, right? You understand the full voltage now, and the non-reversing is that by itself it cannot change the directions of the motor, right? That's why it's called non-reversing. And you said, okay, I saw you change the direction. Yes, if you change the direction, you have to physically swap the wire, right? So that's in the industry setting, not very common, right? So you have to power off, then switch the wire in order to run the motor in the opposite direction. That's not practical, right? But so if that's the case for the application, you need control not only on and off, also the direction. You probably will not use the non-reversing. You will use the other part of the other type of motor starter called reversing, full voltage reversing, right? So if you let me go back to the picture, all right? So if you look at this, that's the unit for the reversing, right? So again, on the lecture we'll talk about more. Basically it is just use two non-reversing side by side, you can see here, and with one overload shared to each other. So we can energize one at a time, one to control the forward, the other control the reverse. So then we can swap we can exchange the phase internal connections. Again, I'm not going to expand on that part on this demo, and that's covered on the theory. We'll talk about that on the lecture. So now I just want to talk about the demo circuit. So with the reversing, as you can see here it has two coil, forward and reverse, right? So then we can use a select switch to change the direction, right? So there are also different kind of control circuit. You don't have to use a selector switch, right? So this is just a very simple one for demonstration purpose. So if you flip to F, that's the forward. If you flip to R, you disconnect the forward, you are running the motor in the reverse direction. You share the button same as before, stop and start, and then that's the 3 wires bypass, right? So in this part there's no jogging. Of course you can also include jogging into this design, but that's different control circuit. For demonstration purpose, we only want to see that with the full voltage reversing, we can change the motor direction without physically stop the power supply, change the wire, right? So that is what you will see in the following demo, right? So let me continue with the video. I turn the power off. Same as before, right? Once this one power off, I need to start to change from this side to this side, right? So maybe I should show you a little bit, all right? So over here, you can see here, this is the full voltage non-reversing. Those are the terminals I'm currently using to connect to there. So I'm going to switch all these 6 wires to this side. This is full voltage reversing, right? So that's what I'm doing on the video now. So those are the 3 lines, L1, L2, L3, and going to this one. And then I need to change those 3 T terminals, right? Yeah, any order, right? Because it itself can change directions. So you will see that once you connect them with the control, you can change the direction. So power on, VFD ready. So you can see that's different buttons now. Start, green button start, red button stop. So you can see this is counterclock, yeah. Okay, stop, and then that's the switch, change direction. Now if I start, that should be the opposite direction. So it should be clockwise. So you can see here, yeah, it's clockwise, right? Yeah. So if you flip the switch, it stop, right? Yeah. So if I should go back to the counterclock, yeah. See here, right? Those I want to use to see the alternate right now, right? This is one go in, and then change the direction. This one, right? So that's what I mean by alternating them, right? So one for direction only. Okay, all right. That's the end of this demo.